Hi folks, welcome to the channel. Hope this finds you all well. This is going to be a pickups video. Now you can't see them, but in front of me I've got 3 boxes absolutely jam-packed with albums. And off to the side there's probably another 2 boxes worth. These are all the albums I've bought in the last year or so, maybe just over a year. And I don't think I've shown most of these. So the object is to try and get these shown and then up into the shelves. So today I think I'm going to show about around a dozen albums. And then we'll see how we get on in the future. Before I start though, I've got a little apology to make to Jack at the channel Vinyl Martini. I said I would do a response to his recent videos on the least expensive and most expensive albums in his collection, according to the valuations on Discogs. Now, I did record that video. Took me 2 days because of interruptions. But when I came to edit it together, the quality was bad. I don't know whether it was the lighting in here on that day or I pressed some sort of function or something that I shouldn't have on my phone. So I ended up scrapping it, I'm afraid. And by that time I'd put away all the albums, so I didn't feel like recording it again. Sorry, Jack. But if you're interested, my least valuable record, according to the median price on Discogs, is a 1966 album by Manitas de Plata, which is valued at appropriately 66 pence, which just goes to show you that there's no correlation between the musical quality and the monetary valuation of albums, because it's a great album. And the most expensive, if you discount box sets, such like, is my copy of Amon Düül, the original Amon Düül's album, Paradieswarts Duel, which I think is valued at around £128 on Discogs. So there you go. Right, let's get on and show some of these albums. I'm going to start with some VCLT that was sent to me. And first off, we have an album that came from John, the Mr. Baggy Hi-Fi as he's known on the VC, the guy with the best intros to videos on all of the VC. Brilliant channel. John got in touch with me and said he had 2 copies of this album, Van der Graaf Generator's Still Life, and would I be interested? So I do have a copy of this already, but mine's an old US issue, and an upgrade was called for. So yeah, I said I'm very interested. Thanks very much, John. Now, this album is the second album that Van der Graaf recorded after their reformation in 1975, second of 3 albums before they changed the lineup and dropped the Generator part of their name for a short period. Now, the first album, God Bluff, is my favourite Van der Graaf Generator album of all time. But this one is up there. It's a brilliant album. Obviously features the superb expressive vocals of Peter Hamill, probably the most expressive voice in all of music. And like I said, this is superb stuff. The title track, Still Life, is one of my favorites, and the epic Childlike Faith in Childhood's End, superb. So well recommended. Thank you very much, John, for that. Totally appreciated. And if you're interested, you're a Van de Graaff generator fan, a Peter Hamill fan, I'd recommend this new book that's just come out by Joe Banks, Rock and Roll, The Visionary Songs of Peter Hamill and Van de Graaff Generator. Brilliant book that goes into his whole musical career in what looks like quite a bit of depth, over 500 pages. Joe Banks did a book on Hawkwind, Days of the Underground, which was excellent too. So, as a side note, if you're a Van de Graaff Generator fan, Peter Hamill fan, I'd recommend this. The next piece of VCLT that came my way was from Headley, another fat bearded man talking about music. Again, one of my favourite channels on the VC. Man who knows all there is to know about country, Americana, folk. Brilliant channel. I'm sure you all know him. And he sent me an album he showed quite recently in one of his videos. And it's this album, Be Thou My Very Armour, by the band Lifeblood. This is on the Sealy Court label, a label which specialises in releasing very rare progressive and folk albums, sometimes albums that were never released at all, which is the case with this one. Lifeblood are a sort of folky progressive band. They did one acetate album in, I think, 1970, which Sealy Court have released. They did another one just after that, which has gone missing. Tapes are not available. And this album was put together from a number of sessions done in 1971. Got a superb cover. As I said, Lifeblood were a folky progressive band with sort of medieval touches in places, thanks to the use of recorder. And it's an excellent album, really is good. It's a shame they didn't have a contract with a bigger label and have access to a proper recording studio and decent producer, because they should be better known than they are. Well, they're not known at all, hardly. They've got the musical chops, and like I said, this is a really good album. So thank you, Headley, for that. But that wasn't the only thing that Headley sent me. He sent me another album from the Sealy Court label, and this is Huck Norton with their album In for a Penny. Now, Huck Norton were a folk band, and I think this album, comes from 1977. It's difficult to find out anything about this band. I must admit, when I first saw it, I thought, oh, it's going to be one of those pleasant folk albums that seemed to be a ton of self-released. But this is actually a really nice album. Headley, in his note to me, described it as charming, and that's perfectly true. It really is. They were a six-piece band with a couple of female singers. I think most of the material was written by the vocalist and guitarist Bob Hughes, apart from one traditional number. But yeah, I'm really impressed with this one. Another band that probably should have been better known, but well worth picking up if you're into 70s folk.
Just looking through my bedroom window scene, the trees and fields are dark, they've lost their green. But you've been here before, know what I mean. Feel like I could die. Oh baby, why'd you leave me high and dry? Baby, why'd you leave me high and dry? As the windows frost and the game is lost. Oh baby, why'd you leave me high and dry?
Right, next we have an album I purchased at the Carlisle Record Fair, I think back in December. And it's the album Musiikki 2 by the Finnish band Marty. This was released on Riot Season back in 2023. I'll read from the hype sticker because it describes the music better than I could. Comes on this nice purple vinyl. Now, Marty are a Finnish four-piece group featuring members of legendary avant rock group Circle. Now, Circle are a band I really want to try, but they've done so many albums in so many different styles, from sort of krautrock and progressive through to ambient and even heavy metal. They describe some of their albums as part of the new wave of Finnish heavy metal. So I don't really know where to start with them, unfortunately. But here, Marty present a unique mixture of ambient rock, electronic music, and traditional Finnish Karelian music. And you have lengthy semi-improvisational pieces that are built on top of complex hypnotic grooves, which are layered with opaque guitars and strangely soothing noise elements. In the heart of it all, there's the kantele, an ancient Finnish string instrument played by Hannu Saha, who has studied Finnish folk music in theory and practice for nearly 5 decades. I don't know about the noise elements being particularly soothing. This took a little bit of getting used to, particularly on track 1, where the noise elements that underlie the main sort of melodies were a little bit disconcerting for me. But on repeated listens, I got to like it more and more. So I was impressed enough that when I returned to the Carlisle Record Fair in January, I picked up their third album, Music Key 3. Now, Marty did, I think, 4 albums in 2 years. They did 2 studio albums in 2023 and a studio album and a live album in 2024. Now, for this album, which again comes on nice coloured vinyl, there you go, beautiful stuff. They, according to the hype sticker again, they ventured even deeper into the unknown on their third release, assisted by the creativity of English musicians Richard Dawson and Sally Pilkington. The music reaches for space and roots, at the same time bringing forth Mr. Dawson's earthy guitars and the angelic voice, while Miss Pilkington weaves ethereal layers with their synths and joins occasionally the choir. Now, I think this is a more accessible album than Music Key 2. I really enjoyed this one. I think the introduction of Richard Dawson and Sally Pilkington have helped to smooth out some of the more noisy elements. And as I said, this is an easier album to get into. Next up, we have an album from the Deutsche Grammophon label, one that's part of their avant-garde series of albums that they put out. I think they put out about 12 of these, and you can get them in box sets as well as individual albums. I've got a couple in this, I think 3 in this series. two devoted to the music of Karl-Heinz Stockhausen, and one which is half Grigori Ligeti, and I can't remember who's on the other side. But this one is an album devoted to choral music and has four pieces by different composers. You have David Bedford with his two poems for chorus. You have Georgi Ligeti, I think that's how you meant to pronounce it, with his probably his most famous piece, Lux Aeterna, which was used in the film 2001: A Space Odyssey. Excellent piece of music. You then have a piece called Suxim by Anna Melnäs, who I think, he's a Swedish composer. And finally, you have the composition Matka by Marek Kopelent, who is a Czech composer. All of these I enjoyed. Obviously, being avant-garde, they're not necessarily always an easy listen, these albums, but I did enjoy this one very much. So I was pleased to pick this up. I think this came from the it's from the Kendal Record Fair. There's a seller there who had a few classical albums. Don't say many classical albums in the wild in terms of record fairs around here. So I was pleased to pick this one up. Next up, we have a band I've followed for quite a while, but I've not actually bought an album for 3 or 4 years, and that's the Glaswegian psych rock band, The Cosmic Dead. And this is their album, which I think, it's from 2017. Excuse the glare. Called Eki Bamyazi. Obviously, a nod to Can. I've got quite a number of albums by The Cosmic Dead. As I said, I used to follow their career quite a bit. Well, I've never seen this one before. and it's excellent stuff, as all of their albums are. There, as I said, there are psych rock bands, some called drone rock, long instrumental pieces. This can be quite heavy at times, but this one, particularly, I think, on one side is more toned down, more ambient, but well worth checking out. Now, moving into a far more heavier vein, we have Caspar Brötzmann Massacre with their album Der Abend der schwarzen Folklore. Now, Caspar Brötzmann is the son of the free saxophonist Peter Brötzmann, and like his father, his music is not necessarily easy on the ear always. This is a power trio, basically, with Caspar Brötzmann on guitar and vocals, and with a bassist and drummer playing behind him. This is quite heavy, almost industrial in places, noise rock, I suppose you could call it. The vocals are usually either half mumbled or declared in a sort of mixture of English and German, more a part of the music than anything else. Sort of music I wouldn't normally go for, but I got into Caspar Brötzmann's music way back in the, I think in the 90s. Bought 2 or 3 CDs by him, but in recent years, I think, 2019, Southern Lord started reissuing the albums on vinyl, and I've tried to pick them up as and when I see them. This was originally recorded in 91. So if you like dark, heavy guitar music, like I said, veering towards the industrial, highly recommended. Next up, we have an album by the guy who seems to be everywhere at the moment. That's Steven Wilson, with his offshoot from Porcupine Tree, IEM, Incredible Expanding Mind. Excellent album. This is, to my mind, the best thing he's done outside of Porcupine Tree. And I only liked Porcupine Tree's music when they were on the Delirium label. After they left that label, I'm not so keen on what they did. But this is his version of sort of krautrock, if you like. And this actually includes, it's a double album, reissued in 2007, and includes the 1996 debut album by IEM and a 12-inch EP, An Escalator to Christmas. The debut album was released in 1996. Escalator to Christmas was done in 1999. And then you have some bonus material, including an interview and an extended mix of An Escalator to Christmas on side D. This is excellent stuff. They did about 2 or 3 releases with IEM. Well, I say with IEM, it's basically Steven Wilson alone, I think. Superb stuff. I was really pleased to see this going for relatively cheaply on a Discog seller. I think might have been somebody in France, actually, not in this country. But I'd been looking for this for a long time. I have it on CD, but was super stoked to get it on vinyl. And so we move from the sort of more progressive, krautrockish genres to pure garage rock. And this is the Fuzz Tones, an American psych garage band from, I think, from the 80s. Yeah, this was their first album, I think. Lysergic Emanations, with this superb cover that was released, I think, in 1985 originally. This is a 2024 reissue. Now, I'd always heard of the Fuzz Tones, but I don't think I'd ever listened to anything by them. But this came up on, I don't know whether it was on Facebook or YouTube as a recommendation. Checked it out, and it's superb. If you like typical 60s garage rock, then absolutely check out the Fuzz Tones. This is superb stuff. Some great tracks on here. Could have been recorded in the 1960s easily from the sound of it.
Since I saw you just today, wanted to ignore you. Somehow you got your way. Just once, I wish I'd say no. Just once, I wish that you'd go.
And sticking in really in the psych vein, though totally different type of psych album, we have this album by the Swedish band Good Morning. It's called Sister Rain. Now, I first came across this years back with a download that I had, and I really enjoyed the album. Then I basically forgot about it, and I saw it back end of last year from on a Discogs sellers listing, same one that I got I think the IEM album from. And so I really had to go for it. It's an excellent psych rock album, but like I said, Good Morning were a Swedish band. Difficult to find out anything about them. The album was released in 2011 on the Commune 2 label, and as far as I know, it's fronted by the guy who runs the label, and the other musicians come from, I think, a band called the Technicolor Poets, who I know nothing about. Now, this is, like I say, psych rock consists of only 3 tracks, and the first one that occupies all of side 1 is their version of House Carpenter, the traditional song that Pentangle did. And on side 2, you've got 2 of their own songs, Sister Rain and Morrigan. Great guitar playing, great female vocals. I really love this album. This is, I think, the only album they ever did, which is a shame. I'm going to have to try and check out Technicolor Poets, see if they're in a similar vein. But this is highly recommended.
Oh, fall on me, oh sister rain. I want to live by you again. Oh, show me how you stay the same. Oh, well, good morning, sister rain. Oh, follow me, oh, sister rain. I want to live by you again. Oh, show me how you stay the same. Oh, well, good morning, sister rain.
And this next one is again a Discogs purchase, and this is the album Anthem of the Moon by the band Cherokee Mist. And they were a band I'd never come across until I saw the listing on Discogs, and I checked them out. Great in a gatefold. And I probably should have known them because they do include a musician I know. And that musician is Niall Hone, who went on to play with Hawkwind, among a few other bands. And on the Cherokee Mist were a trio of Niall, I think Mo Hone, who must be Niall's brother, now plays lead and bass guitar. Mo plays lead and bass guitar, and they're rounded off by Stephen Bays on drums and percussion. This album came out in, bear with me, 1997. I think they did 2 or 3 albums in total. This is superb sort of space rock, psych rock. Just 2 tracks, Sunspots Over Jupiter, which is 22.5 minutes long, and the second side's Tribal Storm, which is 23.5 minutes long. Excellent if you like that sort of long jamming space rock, which I do. I should try and find their other albums. And finally, another Discogs purchase, and another one I was really pleased to find, because I've had this album on CD for quite a long time. I think I originally got it in Vinyl Exchange in Manchester on CD. Loved it. Had never heard of them before, but I've always been on the lookout for the album, and this is the band The Smell of Incense, and the album is Through the Gates of Deeper Slumber. Beautiful cover. Now, Smell of Incense are from Norway, and they play a version of space rock. They're a 5-piece. There's Bumblebee, the lead chanteuse, who plays electric violin and viola. Lumpy Davy on rhythm and lead guitars and sitar and tambura. Ernie Chung on lead and rhythm guitars, ebo guitar, bass, baglama. Han Solo on bass, mellotron, organ and backing vocals, and Cool Cat on drums. And as I said, this is space rock, but all the pieces are based on various literary works. This first side, which is basically one long 5-part piece, is based on the poetry of one Cicely Mary Barker. Somebody I've never heard of it, but like I said, it's her words are put to music by the band on the first side, and on the second side you have songs with where the words are taken. First 2 tracks are taken from the works of Lord Dunsany, the fantasy writer. You then have a 3-part track from the Third Hemisphere, the first part of which is taken from the works of Clark Ashton Smith, the second part from Brian Lumley, the English horror writer, and the third part from the works of Robert E. Howard, the creator of Conan and other brilliant books. And this is excellent stuff. Love this one. They've done another couple of albums, which I'm going to, again, should try and check out. And that's it, folks. I'm hopefully going to try and get a regular schedule of sort of videos out so I can get through all of these albums and show them. I hope you find that of interest. So take care and hopefully see you again soon. Bye.